Okay, so here we are. We're at the Lynch Lodge. This is Steve Lynch's place where he coaches all his candidates and he hosts his brothers here all the time. And he's going to show us around a little bit. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this. Wow, what a place. And there he sits. Holy cow, Steve Lynch.
Welcome, Brother Ben Wallace.
How in the world are you, buddy?
I am doing so well.
We have traveled far to see you, my friend.
God bless you. What a joy. What a joy.
So this is the famous Lynch Lodge, huh?
Well, this is it's what I call it.
Easy there. Tell me all about it.
Well,
Hey, look at your plants here.
I would like to start off by this boxwood that was rooted from one planted by George Washington at Mount Vernon.
Wow.
And I'm just so proud of that. And it's in a hallowed spot here, and I think you'll find out once you get inside that George Washington is very relevant in my way of thinking. I'm a real big George Washington fan.
As we all should be.
As we all should be. And in addition to being the father of our country, we all know that he was a Freemason, which we're so proud of. But
Good
come
stuff.
on in.
Let's go in. We'll check
Brother
it out.
Ben, I have some Masonic pottery that come from down in the Seagrove area. That was custom built, custom made, and this right here, Brother Don Jordan gave me.
Yeah.
And then I have a Masonic door knocker.
Is that an official one?
That's an official door knocker.
Doggy.
And this Lynch Lodge sign here was made by a fellow that I coached, Brian Langhoff, who's also familiar to you.
Scottish Rite.
Member of the Scottish Rite and so forth. But come on in, brother.
Let's see what we got.
Well, this is the place, if you will.
Spot, huh?
This is the spot, and so I've got a number of things that I think are somewhat interesting. Now this right here was given to me by Grand Master Mathis. He was the Grand Master from Wilmington, and I'm so proud of that. And this right here is the program from the gala banquet at the biennial session in '07, and it was a joint session between the northern jurisdiction and the southern jurisdiction, and I got the both grand commanders to autograph it. So I enjoy that a lot, and right here, this is something I really cherish, is my certificate for my 33rd degree. And last time I was at the biennial session, I had an opportunity to look my name up in the book of the 33rds, and there was my signature, and I photographed it. So I just now this table here is made out of some chestnut wood.
Wow.
And it is a species of chestnut that is extinct. And an elderly lady from the state of Massachusetts that used to live here temporarily gave me these boards 25 years ago, and I set them up on a shelf in my garage. And finally, within the last couple of years, I opened the newspaper wrappings up, and here the boards were. You could see the worm holes and lottie-dottie. And I took it to a fella and I said, make me something, I don't care what it is. And this is what it come out. And then Brother Langhoff inscribed the Masonic emblem on it.
Very cool.
So this right here is an interesting piece. This actually is a birdhouse, and a friend of mine who is not a Freemason made that for me to exemplify the Lynch Lodge out here. And then of course you see the ballot box up there, and you see the, of course, the level. You see the sharp instrument, the common gavel, the plumb, the trowel, setting mold, the 24-inch gauge, and so forth. And right here is a set of hoodwinks that belonged to my great-great-grandfather, George Washington Tate, who was initiated a Mason at Eagle Lodge in Hillsborough in 1852. And so, and this money clip was one that was owned by General Lloyd Wilkerson, that I consider probably the most famous Mason in North Carolina at this time. So, and then I've got a little section here designated to Benjamin Franklin, who was a noted Mason. And then you'll notice in the corner the 3 burning tapers that I bought at an old consignment store one time. And then, of course, you can see the master's chair and the Holy Bible square and compass. And you follow over. Now this, of course, that's the unfinished portrait of George Washington that has been so famous by Gilbert Stuart. And this portrait was in a plantation house down in Washington, North Carolina. And I visited the gentleman at his house, and I commented on it, and he pulled it off the wall and handed it to me and gave it to me. So, and I brought it home. So moving over, you see the George Washington bust, and this is one of the paintings by Richard Fox. That's one of the modern Masonic artists nowadays. This is a replica of the apron that George Washington wore when he laid the cornerstone at the United States Capitol in 1793. And then, of course, you see Mount Vernon up there. And this painting here, this is an original George Washington, and it was painted by a friend of mine named Mitchell Norton down in Little Washington, or Washington as they like to be referred to as. I have a replica of George Washington's pistol, and these 2 volumes here are books that were printed in 1803, and it incorporates George Washington letters and other writings concerning the Revolutionary War. And here's an additional 4 of the Masonic jugs that I'm so proud to have. I have a total of 6. I had 7. I gave 1 away. This is one that's new here. I got it at a consignment store, and it shows George Washington praying. I was walking through the farmer's I was walking through the flea market at the state fairgrounds about a year ago, and George was lying in a basket of kind of junk, to tell you the truth, and he was all tattered and needed cleaning and so forth. And I got him and brought him home, and I hold him in high esteem. Now this is a figurine of George Washington from 1957. It was made over in Germany, and I've actually got two sizes of them. And they're from 1957. They no longer exist, and so I'm very, very proud to have those. And then this is a page of the Bible like George Washington would have read out of, and I actually bought it at a Masonic auction down at Carolina Duke Inn some time ago. And of course you see the George Washington Masonic Lodge up in Alexandria, Virginia. And I'd like to go back to this once again. This is made out of cherry, and a dear friend of mine that I coached in the lodge made this for me and brought it here. And of course you see another picture of George Washington there. And this is a picture of my great-great-grandfather, George Washington Tate. And this is his pocket watch. This is his telescope. And this is part of his mess kit from the Civil War that I hold in very, very high regard. And the guy below him is Thomas Lynch from Charleston, South Carolina, who was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. And I'm about 100th cousin or so. And then the next section here is a picture of me and the jewel when I was a grand Tyler. And then the next section is, I call it my shrine section. And two of the Amran potentates, widows, gave me their husbands' fez when their husbands died. So I'm very, very proud of that. And of course, you see a picture here of Commander Seal and so forth and so on. And this is about all of the Masonic memorabilia, I guess. I was in the police business for actually 40 years, and this is some regalia from my police days, and so over in this section is some of my collectible things that I used when I was in Vietnam. You might find some interest in this. I was honored in about 4 years ago to represent all combat veterans in the United States in laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And so now this display here is something that means a lot to me. Is that little New Testament there? I carried all through my time in my pocket in the jungle of Vietnam. And I'm just so happy to have been able to bring it back. And this document here is a page out of the Geneva Bible, 1603 is the date on it. Now this Bible in here was owned by James O'Kelly, and it was printed in 1770 in St. Albans, England. And many people know James O'Kelly as being a circuit rider, preacher under Francis Ashbury, spreading Methodism across the colonies, if you will, and so forth. And I'm somewhat kin to him, distant cousin away. And I guess you kind of see the rest of the things here. You see General Douglas MacArthur on the far right, who was a Freemason. And then you see Franklin Roosevelt, who was a Mason, and of course Harry Truman up there, who was a Mason. And so, and let me I've got something that I dug out of my archives today, and I'd like to read it if I could. Last night I knelt where Hiram knelt. Last night I knelt where Hiram knelt and took an obligation. Today I'm closer to my God, and I am a master mason. Through heretofore, my fellow man seemed each one like others. Today I search each one apart. I'm looking for my brother. And as I feel his friendly grip, it fills my heart with pride. I know that while I'm on the square, that he is on my side. His footsteps on my errand go, if I should such require. His prayers will plead in my behalf, if I should so desire. My words are safe within his breast, as though within my own. His hand forever at my back, to help me safely home. Good counsel whispers in my ear, and warns of any danger. By square and compass, brother now, who once would call me stranger. I might have lived a moral life and risen to distinctions without my brother's helping hand and fellowship of Masons. But God, who knows how hard it is to resist life's temptations, knows why I knelt where Hiram knelt and took the obligation. And here's another couple of things. These are two Masonic canes, hand carved. This one was by Brother Jack Turrell, and this one, I'm sorry. This one was by, what's Bale's first name?
Jack.
This was made by Brother Jack Bale, and this was by Brother Jack Turrell.
Steve, this whole thing is just absolutely fascinating. We could spend 2 days in here looking at all this
Oh
stuff.
my goodness, brother!
It's good stuff.
Well, I'm sorry that George is got a little pinch there.
That's okay. We'll sew him right up. We'll get him some stitches, and he'll be good to go.
Thank you.
We sure appreciate you taking time to show us the Lynch Lodge today. And
Pleasure.
It is always good to see.
Always a
you,
joy.
my friend.
Always a joy.
Thank you for showing
And you
us
know,
around.
I have a breakfast out here once a month, and all of the Grand Masters of the last several years have been here.
Right. Well, that's good stuff. And we appreciate you showing us around. And we hope we get invited back.
Always. I'll show you where the key's at.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.